Hey guys, let's talk about factoring in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Usually the problem with factoring is just not knowing which method to use on any given problem. So I put a high priority on knowing all of the methods of factoring and then knowing how to identify them. So just quickly, when you're factoring, the very first thing you should try, and you should always try it, is to see if the problem has a greatest common factor. I call it GCF. So I would say always try that first. Then after that, then you want to see if the problem might be a difference of squares problem. To be a difference of squares, it has to have just two terms, and it has to be a subtraction problem. That's what the word difference means. So to be a difference of squares, two terms, subtraction problem, and both terms have to be perfect squares. So after you've tried that, the next thing is the guess and check method. You're going to try the guess and check method when you have three terms in the problem and it's a quadratic. Number 4, sum or difference of cubes. This will have two terms. It could be a sum or a difference. It can be addition or subtraction. And both of the terms have to be perfect cubes. So it's similar to this, but the difference is it's not perfect squares, it's perfect cubes that you're looking for. The other difference is that this can be a sum or a difference, whereas the difference of squares, there's no such thing as a sum of squares. So it has to be a subtraction problem for a difference of squares. But it could be either addition or subtraction for sum or difference of cubes. And then the last method is grouping, so you want to try that when a problem has four terms. Now, if you look around on YouTube and just search for any one of these different methods, you can find out about how to specifically do each of those methods. But I think it's a good idea to have this copied down somewhere and kind of until you can get into the habit of checking this and then this and then this and then this and then this. It's good to have this written down so you kind of methodically go through this to see which method you should be using. So if you're told to factor, go from the top down, evaluating which method you should use. And sometimes on some of the problems you'll use more than one method. So you may factor out the greatest common factor, and then you may have to use one of these other methods to factor as well. I've seen problems where you factor like two or three times with two or three different methods on one problem. Anyway, see ya.